Hey, podcast listeners. I'm Chris Morocco, food director of Bon Appetit and Epicurious, and host of the Dinner SOS podcast. Each week on the show, we bring the expertise of the Bon Appetit test kitchen to your kitchen. And this season, we've got a little something for everyone. We're debating whether spring produce is actually worth all the hype, solving your hosting anxieties, and helping you become a better baker with our BA Bake Club episodes on Dinner SOS.
A long time ago, hundreds of years ago, at funerals, they'd present like cookbooks from people's lives and like recipes that they made. And in them were like traditional like curries and things that we like see and know as Thai, but with all sorts of ingredients like figs and like whole hams, like things that are not always associated with Thai food.
This is Taste. I'm your host, Eliza Barbanel. Ali Domrongchai is a writer, recipe developer, and baker in Brooklyn. She's passionate about researching and uplifting Thai culinary traditions, from teaching lukchup workshops to popping up with pandan lemongrass mochi cake and other treats at restaurants around the city. It's so fun having Ali on the show to talk about the exciting state of Thai food in New York, including her upcoming Thai Takeover at the Museum of Food and Drink on May 29th. Ali Domrongchai, this is Taste. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This was such a formal way to chat because we get to talk all the time, but I'm so happy to have you in the studio and to get to talk about your perspective on food and everything.
I know, me too. I was thinking the same thing. I feel like we know a lot about each other, but just going into this, you're going to learn a lot more.
Yeah, we're getting into the Domrongchai family lore, hopefully. We're getting to what drives you as a writer and recipe developer. I guess before we talk about any of that, I'd love to get a little bit of insight into your perspective on food, how you grew up, and I'm curious if you could tell me an early food memory from growing up.
Oh my goodness. Yes. That's such a fun question, especially because when you look through photo albums when I was a kid, there is not a single photo of me not holding, eating, or just looking at food. I think there are hundreds of photos of me with a security sour cream and onion can of Pringles. But a very vibrant food memory that comes to mind is my grandmother. We were sitting down. I believe we were eating papaya salad, and she was drenched in sweat. And I was looking at her a little are you okay? And mine, I didn't add much chilies on mine when I was a kid. And she looked at me and she went, it's not good if you're not sweating. It's not worth it if you're not burning in heat. And then I think that was the same week that I bit into a raw bird's eye chili for the first time. I think I must have been 6. And my mouth was on fire. I was sobbing and just all the heat all over my body. But it didn't scar me. I think that moment made me really dedicated to take hold of the heat. And now I love my food really spicy. I like it as spicy as her, sometimes more than. So I like to think that I make her proud in that sense. But
yeah, I was going to say, she must be really proud of you.
Yeah, I think lately more so. We were actually out to eat this past summer at one of my favorite restaurants in the city, Crew. And I overheard her talking with the waiter that to make my dish not as spicy because I can't handle it. And I immediately cut her off, and we got into a little tit for tat, and then I asked them to bring out maximum heat. And then I just even though I was in pain, I was stone cold. I was like, Grandma, I can take you down.
That's so funny. And I love thinking about being a child, growing up eating Thai food. I think obviously spice is such a big part of that. And do you feel like your family tried to did they hand you the bird's eye chili? Is there a way that people were kind of trying to train the next generation to eat spicy, or is it something that you just kind of took upon yourself?
This was definitely something I took upon myself. Growing up, there are definitely dishes, Thai dishes, not everything is spicy, that are catered toward children. Mm-hmm. Catered toward everyone, but with an emphasis on kids. Pad see ew, that's a very sweet and salty dish. Masaman curry, not very spicy. All of those things are very good for kids. For me, I think just being a little bit stubborn as a kid, one of my many nicknames was Bull. Like I was like a little bull. And so I was very adamant about proving to my family that I could handle the spice. So I always asked for the same spice as the adults. And even though it led to many painful stomach aches, I like to think that I'm stronger for it and that I have a calloused iron stomach now.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it is exposure therapy. Like the more spice you eat, the more you can handle. So
Yeah.
you just got like an early head start on it.
Yeah.
So something that I know about you, like personally and also professionally, is that you grew up in your family's Thai restaurant. But I feel like we've never talked about it at length. And now that I have you on the mic, I would love to hear about just what that was like for you growing up, like what kind of restaurant it was and what kind of like roles you had in it.
Yeah. So to start, I was a child throughout all of it. So when my family actually moved away to North Carolina, so I didn't really get the same working in the restaurant that like my father did. So they had that restaurant for about 30 years, and growing up around that restaurant, in that restaurant, was like a dream. Like it felt like that was the space to be. I would walk in, I'd immediately get served chicken satay. I'd have like mango sticky rice like in the queue ready for me. Towards the end of the night, I would go in the back and we'd put all sorts of things in the deep fryer, like Oreos and like donuts. And it was the best. And being around the kitchen was so exciting. And then when my grandparents got older, my aunt, Nalek, actually took over the restaurant, but moved it to Royal Palm Beach, where she opened up Peppermint Thai. And that was just somewhere that we... Like that again was like another third space where we would just like always go after school, always be little gremlins in the back room, drawing over everything and everywhere. And it wasn't until I got older that I started thinking about the restaurant, not only as like a place for fun, but also in the way that it was survival for my family. We obviously associate food with so much love and joy, but I think a lot of it that I picked up as I got older was a lot of the sacrifices that were made for the restaurant. My grandmother has 6 sisters, and all of them worked in the restaurant. They brought all of the sisters over to work in their original restaurant, Siam Gourmet, and out of all of them, my grandmother was the only one who was a chef and the only one who wanted to be a chef and wanted to be cooking. My other aunts, they had dreams of being a teacher. My aunt-elect wanted to do broadcasting, and she had an amazing voice and has an amazing voice and personality for it. All of my aunts put a lot of that aside to open this restaurant and to be there for this restaurant. And that is a sacrifice. And that I think about a lot when I think about the work that I'm actively trying to do with Thai food and trying to uplift Thai voices, add a different new perspective to Thai food. I have very early memories of being in the restaurant and hearing customers complain about like dishes like pad Thai, for example. It became, at least in the South Florida clientele, pad Thai is something that the sauce is very simple. It's made with tamarind, fish sauce, and sugar. And that fish sauce smell is, I mean, to me, that it's like one of the best smells in the world. I love it so much. But to customers there, it leaned more into like the pungent. They did not like the fish sauce smell. So it got to a point where when people would order pad Thai for takeout, they would have to remove the fish sauce and replace it with soy sauce. And they would make a lot of those adjustments based on what the customers want and what the customers expected. And even more, there were so many customers that had such an authority on the food that they were serving, where they would want to speak with like my grandma to ask them if how she makes it, because when they went to Bangkok one time 20 years ago, it tasted differently.
Yeah.
And that kind of authority that people brought to Thai food really pushed me to understand why.
Yeah, no, I think it's so interesting. And, obviously, like, there was this huge boom in Thai restaurants in the United States in the 80s during this period of immigration. And I believe, like, the Thai government was even, like, helping people immigrate to open restaurants in the United
Oh my gosh,
States.
absolutely.
Thai food as tourism. Like, I just went to Thailand and I was asking you for all the places I wanted to go eat at because, like, to me, like, obviously that's just one part of the culture, but I think it's a part of the culture that, like, Americans have really fallen in love with. But it's interesting to think about, like, the kind of Thai food that was introduced to people versus, like, all of the variety that actually is out there and the way that people have kind of had to evolve their understanding of what Thai food can be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think about that a lot. The government program that pushed Thai food is called their gastro diplomacy program under the Kitchen of the World. It's changed a few times, but I think now it sits at Kitchen of the World in the Thai Select program. But basically, yes, in the 2002, the Thai government saw an opportunity to push Thai food globally. I think that they invested somewhere around 500 million baht, which I think is the equivalent to around 12 million USD, to not only train chefs, but put them around the world globally, give them cookie cutter menus, and encourage them, less encourage and more push them to use Thai ingredients, get all of their imports in from Thailand, and kind of follow a very specific set menu. And I think that coupled with, this is kind of going back a little bit to the decades before on what led to that, but the United States intervention in Thailand, in Southeast Asia, during the Cold War and after World War II, really, really kickstarted the global tourism industry for Thailand. And something that people don't know and is always so surprised when I tell them this is that during World War II, Thailand actually declared war on the United States. They joined the Axis powers and they let out this statement that we will no longer be your little brown brothers. And they joined the Axis powers. And then when the war ended, the United States essentially came to them and said, if you put this all behind, if you put out a statement that says that this was an accident, that you never intended to do this, that this was a big mistake, we will give you a lot of money to rebuild and we will put roads for you. We'll build all this up so you can make money off of tourism from us. And it worked really well.
Yeah.
It worked incredibly well, as we can see a testament to now. I think Food and Wine just put Thailand as one of, or the best global culinary city in the world, or Bangkok specifically.
Yeah.
And
we have the White Lotus. We have all
the
of
White
these
Lotus,
things.
of course, the White Lotus. And during that time when you're having an influx of so many Americans and Europeans coming to Thailand, after their visits there, they're coming back home and they're bringing all these recipes. The first Thai cookbook published in America was by Marie Wilson, and it was called Siamese Cookery. And in the book, it had very interesting caricatures of Thai people as being very relaxed and laid back and having delicious food, a lot of exoticization, while encouraging people to, you don't need fish sauce, you need soy sauce, you don't need these things, you can do all this. And I understand that those ingredients weren't widely available during this time in the 60s, but to the way that she was writing about it was kind of cementing Thailand in the West and cementing non-Thai people as authority over Thai food. And all of that kind of brings us back to the gastro diplomacy program when Thailand saw this huge opportunity of American, Europeans, all over the world, people's really big interest in Thai food and capitalize off of it. I mean, it was genius. And it did work. I'm sure it worked by their merits. But there have been a lot of, I would go as far to say there have been a lot of consequences because of that. It really pushed a singular narrative of what Thai food is a narrative that was not really developed by Thai people and instead was designed with profit in mind.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing, but it is exciting to be someone in Thai food today that is having these conversations with Thai chefs, having these conversations with non-Thai people. And there's a lot of work to be done, but I think people are receptive to it and it's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's totally valid to be examining the history that's led us to this point. I think that's the only way you can really understand like where we actually are. And I think maybe this is my optimistic impression, but there's an opportunity to say, well, if you love pad Thai, you're really going to love
absolutely
fill in the blank of like any of the other amazing regional, seasonal Thai dishes that exist out there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's so funny because when I first started studying this at like 18, I was such a cynic. I was like, I think I went on like a pad Thai strike for like 2 years. Like I wouldn't eat pad Thai because I was like, this is not fair. Like pad Thai is so like fabricated to fit this like notion of like one singular Thai-ness that was only developed to push a different narrative. And I can appreciate like pad Thai is delicious. It's
especially if you're not swapping out the fish sauce. Yeah.
yeah, no, of course that is a big part of it.
As the summer travel season approaches, I'm excited to let you know about 2 upcoming Taste Travels, our immersive travel series hosted by cookbook authors and me, Matt Rodbard. On June 15th, I will be joining the Mediterranean dish author Suzy Karache in Barcelona for an incredible week of culinary tours, cooking classes, and plenty of wine and jamon. And on September 15th, I will be joining author and baker Mauricio Leo of The Perfect Loaf for a tour of northern Italy. We will visit artisanal Parmigiano Reggiano and balsamic vinegar producers, take a masterclass in the art of panettone, and of course, eat plenty of stuffed pasta and mortadella in and around Emilia-Romagna. Both trips are nearly sold out and closing soon. If interested, write into hello@tastecooking.com and we will get you the information. That's hello@tastecooking.com. I hope to see you on one of our taste travels this summer.
So much of the food that came from the westernization of Thailand is incredible. But it's also exciting to think about all of the different regional Thai cuisines, the way that people in that region, in Siam, because Thailand, if you weren't aware, has only been a nation since 1938. It hasn't even been 100 years. And before that, it was the Kingdom of Siam. And it's exciting pulling out all, like, the ways that people cooked before that. There was a lot of experimentation. There is actually this really cool, I don't have the exact name of like the grouping of them, but like Chef Om of the executive chef owner at Crew shared with me that a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, at funerals, they'd present like cookbooks from people's lives and like recipes that they made. And in them were like traditional like curries and things that we like see and know as Thai, but with all sorts of ingredients like figs and like whole hams, like things that are not always associated with Thai food, but really emphasized cooking with what is local to you, because that is traditional Thai cooking. And there's a sense of being adaptable and just cooking things that mean something to you. Like that is what is exciting about Thai food.
I love that. And you're talking about Chef Om and Crew a little bit already, but I'd love if you could just speak a little more to like what the New York Thai community, like Thai food community is like, and what kinds of kind of like skill, knowledge sharing you've been able to be a part of.
Oh my goodness. I might get emotional thinking about this just because it's been, I've only been living in New York for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think being able to be integrated into our tiny but mighty Thai community has made this place feel so special to me. It has really been something that the first time I stepped into crew, for example, the Kiss, one of the co-owners, was like, "Oh, you're Thai, your family," and I got really emotional because moving to a new place can feel really lonely, but I think finding those roots with people really, really make all the difference. And expanding out to the other bits of the Thai community has been really beautiful. A few years ago, when I was interning at Food and Wine, I wrote a piece on why do so many Thai restaurants look all the same? And just kind of like a historical piece chronicalizing how Thai restaurants got to where they are. And that is something that resonated with a lot of Thai people, both in New York and outside of it. And I felt like that was kind of my entryway in. And since then have been able to make so many really wonderful connections with people who feel the same way about Thai food, who understand and deeply resonate with the frustration that is felt when non-Thai people try to put authority and try to put Thai food in a box. And being able to be a part of that Thai community is really special because there is a lot of really cool things happening. There's a growing number of Thai restaurants who adamantly do not have pad Thai on their menu. And I don't want pad Thai to be like the punching bag of this episode, but it is exciting, even as a symbol of just pad Thai has been like a banner for Thailand for so long, a banner that was not chosen by Thai people. It was chosen by the government to push a very certain narrative. And seeing chefs across the city find ways to highlight different parts of Thailand is just really amazing. And it's so special getting to connect with so many different Thai people across the city. Like, for example, I teach Luke Troop classes, which is kind of like a Thai marzipan. It looks very similar, but it's made with mung beans instead. And at my last class, there was an elder from the temple there, and she was Facebook Living the entire event, which was very sweet. But at the end of it, she told me that like over like 100 people had been popping in and out of the live, just like amazed that like a Thai American was teaching the art of Luke Troop. And so it's really cool and special to be part of that Thai community and to represent one side or one part of it.
Yeah, I really like love being your friend and getting to see all of the different ways that you're kind of like not only sharing stories, but like teaching, like whether you're teaching a Lukchup class or you're making like desserts and having them at like different pop-ups around the city. Even like I think you texted me recently and you're like, hey, do you want any durian? Because I'm going in on it in bulk with the Zop Zop people at Costco. I was like, what did you guys all do with the durian?
So we actually had not done it yet. We had plans to do it.
Oh. If the durian is going to still happen, I would like to know.
The durian's still happening.
So wait, what happened? Costco has durian in bulk. That's the origin of this.
Costco has durian in bulk, yes. This is what I've been hearing through the grapevine.
Through the Thai food grapevine.
Through the Thai food grapevine. Some of my friends at Zab Zab, Pei specifically, informed me that there have been like whisperings in like the Thai WhatsApp chats and Facebook groups that like durian has hit Costco. Because it's like, I think they were saying it was like 40 pounds of durian. I live in a New York apartment and it's not big enough. We are all making plans to go in on it, but I went last month and it wasn't there. And I was really devastated. I think they had like dried durian, like dried mango, but I wasn't interested in that, unfortunately.
Well, I hope it comes through.
But we are like, every time I see them, we're like ready. We're ready when it strikes. I have my car. And so I'll get a few cases of them.
Your car is going to just be the most beautifully pungent durian car.
Because we've been talking. We are talking about doing like themed dinners. I I think upcoming, we're working on like a mango dinner because they have a really delicious mango curry on their menu.
Yeah.
And to that, I'll accompany a few different like mango and sticky rice, of course, but like a few other desserts. But I keep on, I think just being like part of the younger generation of like Thais like in adjacent to restaurants is that I think people are ready for durian. But a lot of older people who have been in this industry much longer still think that people are not ready and that they're scared of it, which is understandable. There's a lot of horrible stories about durian.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe you don't have like the years of baggage of people not liking
And I think
it.
that's absolutely it. But
I think it's time.
I do think it's time as well. I do think like coming into it with fresh eyes and like seeing excitement around it. I mean, durian itself, I think like genetically taste buds wise, it's kind of like a clean 50-50 whether or not you have the capacity.
It's like the
to love
cilantro
it.
gene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like, durian is such a prized fruit for so many people from so many cultures, and like New York is a hub for people. So I think there are probably people who already love it, and there are other people who know that it is this like if you know kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And want to prove that they're not of the pad thai only ilk of Thai eaters and want to go for it. And I'm also curious, you I think are such a great baker, and I know you've done a lot of cool things with durian. Like, where do you get your recipe baking ideas from, and what kinds of things are exciting to you?
Oh my goodness, such a fun question. I'll say my first, I mean, aside like my grandma's not per se a baker, and a lot of Thai desserts don't really fall in the category of baking because they're a lot of steaming, a lot of mostly steaming, actually, now that I think about it. I was trying to think of other things. But, like, yeah, no, steaming is, like, the big thing.
Or, like a chilled, like, layered.
Yes, yeah. Or, like, heating and then chilling.
Yes.
Things like that. So early, like, interest in baking came from my mom, who is an amazing home baker. And when I started to get really interested in Thai history, I noticed a lot of this was before I did my dive, but I noticed a lot of Thai desserts that had like European leaning that had me wonder like how did that happen? Like there's a lot of custards. There's actually a cake. A cake called farang, which is farang means foreigner.
Yeah.
So it's like
I know that one.
And so it's just basically a cake. But cakes just were not something super familiar in Thai markets and Thai culinary canon that was the name of it, farang. But reading about how that came to be was really interesting. So you have this now goes back to the 1500s, but around like the 1510s, maybe 1511, when Portuguese came as colonizers, missionaries, traders, you know how they came. You know how they came to Southeast Asia during that time. They brought with them a lot of desserts, like custards, like marzipan, like things like that. And those were two things that, yes, Thai people or Thai people in that region did like that. Like, yeah, like these are exciting. These are cool. Okay, but we don't really have flour. Like, we don't really have things like that. We don't really have almonds. So
we don't have ovens.
We don't have ovens. So, like, we got to, like, regroup and figure this out. But there's a second part of it as Thai people in Thailand wears, like, a very proud badge of honor and that, like, the hashtag never been colonized. And that happened because the people of Thailand were very crafty and very smart. They very quickly noticed the power dynamics coming between like Europeans coming into the region and their kingdom. So what they would do is they would mirror people who came. They would start dressing like them. They would start making their foods. They would do things and mimic their customs, traditions, food ways as a means of proving that you can't colonize us because we're already Western. We already are doing the things that you're doing. So it's not necessary. Like, we're good. Like, we check, you have these things that you want to do. Check, we're already doing them because as a survival tactic and a means of preserving themselves. And I found that, of course, incredibly interesting, heartbreaking for many reasons. But with that, we are left with a wealth of incredibly cool and interesting Thai desserts that are this awesome mashup between like European customs and technique and Thai flavors and customs and technique. So one of those is like a moking, which is a mung bean custard. And it is essentially mung beans. And traditionally it's made with duck eggs and palm sugar and coconut. But the way, because a lot of Thai people don't really like many Asian people, not too sweet is very much true for Thai food and Thai desserts. So we fry shallots and use the oil to help season the mung bean custard and then top them on top. It's like savory sweet. It like maybe sounds a little bit weird to hear, but it is incredibly delicious and perfect. I wouldn't change it for the world. But those custards and that way of eating and that way of heating eggs to make a custard came from the Portuguese. And I think seeing that really got me curious into all of the ways that the people of Siam adapted their culinary traditions and customs for this new way of eating. And so with that in mind, I use that lens in everything that I make now. So that same custard, I recently made a mogang cheesecake, which had the same concept, but of course with some delicious cheesecake, and actually took almonds, which is something that now you can find in Thailand, but like back then you couldn't find in Thailand, and use it as like a instead of the graham crackers, but like as a crust. And it was very delicious and fun. So I kind of go into a lot of my baking and cooking, for that matter, just with the lens of throughout the history, so much of Thai food has been about adaptation and new ideas flowing. And I kind of like go through it with that, which I think is really exciting. And I think is something that people don't acknowledge enough about Thai food, is all the ways, or maybe they don't acknowledge because they don't know, and it's something that I want people to know.
Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting. Even the idea that, like, you know, chili peppers, I think, are so strongly associated with Thai food, but they're not indigenous to Thailand. They were brought over a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or even when I was...
Also by the Portuguese.
Also by the Portuguese. Shout out to the Portuguese, I guess.
Which they got... I don't remember where exactly they got from South America, but...
Yeah. I mean, I think of that. I think of when I was in Bangkok earlier this year, like the most incredible like Thai Chinese food that I had there. And I think in general, just the spirit of like constant adaptation, which makes me think about all of the delicious mochi cakes that you've been making. I'm curious, like, what draws you to mochi cake specifically? Because I feel like it's something I would associate as like one of your star dishes.
That's so sweet. Oh my gosh, mochi cakes. I also love mochi cakes so dearly. Mochi cakes are one of those things that... So the concept of like the mochi cake and my initial draw to them is, of course, the original Hawaiian recipe, the Hawaiian butter mochi. But eating mochi, and the first time I made it a few years ago with my grandma, she just would not stop talking about how like this tastes like all like the little like kanom-y little snacks that she would eat as a kid. And of course, immediately, boom, light bulb in my head. Well, I've got to make this for her every time I see her, because anytime she likes a dessert, I get really happy and it's really amazing. But mochi and like the texture and the way that it's made is really adjustable and is like really really fun to experiment different flavors with. I think one of my most popular at the time, which kind of got my gears turning to make all these other flavor combinations, was I did a Thai tea mochi cake that I put Thai tea into the batter and then topped it with the sweetened condensed glaze because I love sweetened condensed dearly, and that is like you need like a big heaping of it whenever you're drinking Thai tea. So it felt natural that would go on top.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my first pop-ups, like people were just like, "Oh my goodness, this is one of the most delicious, incredible things I've ever eaten," which was, of course, amazing and music to my ears as a baker. Which then pushed me to explore different ways to play around with the form and flavor. And now I think my like big flagship mochi cake is a pandan mochi cake with a lemongrass glaze that I consistently have at Larry's Cafe. And when I don't have it there, I hear about it in my DMs. And I've actually made a few for people to like pick up entire ones, which is really funny and fun.
I love that flavor combination. I want to make sure we talk about your cookbook club because I think this is like such a amazing and surreal thing. You launched this cookbook club monthly here in New York in August 2023.
Wow, yeah.
I'm in the group chat. It is very active. I would say you have probably like 50 to 60 people who make dishes from these cookbooks and come often to your apartment building or like other restaurants or places like that every month. Like, are you surprised to see this growth and interest? And what is it like to be like running this cookbook club?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I cannot believe it's been that long. Actually, so cookbook clubs have been around forever. I know Kitchen Arts and Letters has like a really long-standing one that they've had for decades. I first got the idea to start my own. I was in the office. This was, again, when I was a intern fellow at Food and Wine. A coworker was offhandedly talking about a cookbook club that they were going to that weekend. And I just thought that was so fun. And so I think later that night, I went on my story and I was like, okay, cookbook club. Does anyone want to join one? Does anyone want to start one together? And I think I had about 12 people at that time. We had our first meeting. We cooked from Andrea Nguyen's Evergreen Vietnamese.
I love that book.
An amazing book. And I think just that initial sharing it online got like a lot of people interested to come to more of them. And slowly it's just been growing by word of mouth. It really, it like tripled, quadrupled by a ton when my friend Steph Lau, when her cookbook club, probably coming out about a year ago, first went very viral on TikTok and Instagram. And I think a lot of people saw that and they had a yearning to meet other people. I think a lot of us still feel the loneliness from the COVID pandemic and are looking for ways to build and make community. And I think cookbook clubs have just erupted as the perfect vessel for that. Coming together with a cookbook is so fun. You're there with a purpose. You get to cook. You get to bring that dish to a big meetup. And even if you don't know anyone there, you already have the conversation starter of, oh, what did you bring? Like, oh, I made this. Oh, have you tried this? And it's really amazing seeing people that I did not know a year and a half ago at this point come to every meeting and become integral parts of my own community and build community within that. And I also think that people are excited about food right now in general.
Yeah.
And cookbooks are one of the ways that people can really engage with different cuisines. Because there's step-by-step guides to make all these different recipes. And it's really cool. It's been really cool to see. the reason I felt equipped to start a cookbook club is because I'd won the housing lottery and I was just moving into an apartment with a really big rooftop. I think now a year and a half later, and like I think there's about 300 people in the chat, but like you said, about 50 to 60 that come consistently. I still don't always know all these people super intimately. So we've been moving. The cookbook club is actually moving fully to Crew, a restaurant in Brooklyn, the one that I mentioned earlier that I love deeply. And we're going to be doing cookbook clubs there where we have the general potluck, where we all come together, eat together, share recipes. But then a few days later, the chef Om is going to be making a menu based off of the book, but infused with Thai flavors and Thai cooking traditions.
Oh, I love that.
Which is really cool. I'm very excited about it. We did our pilot one with Nox Kalaya, with Kalaya's Southern Kitchen, which went great. It was so much fun. And next up, we have Marin's Make It Plant-Based Southern, which I'm so excited about. Not to spoil too much, but we were talking about doing like a massaman pot pie, which I have not tried yet, but I'm still thinking about it every night.
I'm really happy to hear that there's an evolution for the cookbook club because I love that you were so generous to host it in your apartment building roof, but I feel like it's just a long time to be doing that.
I also think it's inevitable for like me to get a notice from my landlord.
Your landlord's listening to this right now. So that's what's been happening. I know that it must be hard to pick a favorite, but I'm curious if you have any especially memorable cookbook clubs over the past year and a half.
We did do Fatty Katan's Bethlehem last July, and we ended up raising around, I think, $700 to the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. Part of my cookbook club is we also have crafts. We eat and then we make crafts. And for that craft that day, I'm known for my family has these 5 large, towering, beautiful fig trees. And I dry the figs, I cut them and dry them and put them in resin, and had people pay to like get the charms and have all the materials there for people to make jewelry. So people, by buying the charms, they were raising money for Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. And that was just such a special night. And we had actually people from the organization come and speak about their work. And it's just so beautiful being with a group of people who are all so open and caring for community. And it's honestly one of the best things that I've been a part of living here.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a really special meeting amongst many special meetings. And I think there probably is something there that if someone cares enough to, buy the book, read the book, make something from it, like bring it to share with people, that there's a generosity of spirit that comes up in other ways as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talking about cookbooks, I'm curious if you would write a cookbook, what would it be?
I have many ideas in the world of potential cookbooks, but one that is pressing that I think about quite a bit is a Thai American cookbook called Kanoms. Kanoms is also my pop-up name. Kanom in Thai is like a little snack or a little dessert because they don't really have like dessert portions like in their list of, because they don't really have like larger dessert portions or views on dessert like we do here in America. And Noms at the end is kind of like I'm from Florida. I was born in Florida. I'm a Thai American girl. And I don't know if anyone else picks up on this, but like the nom to me is like the like num num num.
No, yeah. Obviously I think of that.
Okay, good. That's very affirming. And I'm interested in writing a cookbook one day about Thai American desserts, but also talking about sweetness, not only as a flavor, but also the ways in which Thai people have been trained and taught to perform levels of sweetness. A large Thai tourism campaign is the Land of the Smiles. And throughout my life, I've witnessed my family kind of have like that, okay, restaurant's open, it's showtime. It's time, like, doesn't matter if I get cursed out at. I have to be the sweetest person in the entire world because that's what customers expect. And that is something that is very interesting. It saddens me, but it's an exciting topic that I think the sweetness of desserts. Sweet is a major proponent of Thai food and Thai flavor. And I think it being a vessel to talk about something bigger and more important would be a dream.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a really special cookbook, and you would probably do an amazing cookbook club about it when it would come out also.
Cookbook club of all the cookbook clubs.
The mega cookbook club.
Final boss.
Okay, before we get into the rapid fire to close, I want to ask you about the upcoming Thai Takeover event that you're planning at the Museum of Food and Drink here in New York, in case folks that are listening want to come.
Oh my gosh, yes, I can't wait. So on May 29th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Museum of Food and Drink in Dumbo, we're having a fun Thai happy hour. And that is going to feature a bunch of different Thai chefs, artists, other Thai brands, and just kind of mingle, eat a lot of delicious things. Something that I love is like Thai food has sweet, salty, sour, spicy, umami. And scientifically, I'm not being biased right now. Scientifically, Thai food is the most delicious cuisine in the world because it makes all those things in our brains light up. And the current exhibit at MoFed right now is the world of flavor to your brain and kind of breaking down how our brain reacts to flavor. So it couldn't be a more perfect combination, and I can't wait about it.
The science doesn't lie.
So, yeah, it's not me, it's the science.
Yeah, it's not you at all. I'm going to do a little rapid fire with you to close, okay?
Ready.
Okay, your favorite cookbook right now?
It's warm right now, so I'm pulling back Von Diaz's Islas. I love it.
Your favorite coffee shop in New York?
Larry's Cafe. I love the Larry's ice cream.
And I think maybe for people that are listening that don't know it, it's cafe, but it's cafe like the Vietnamese.
Yes.
Right? So it's a Vietnamese coffee shop.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Your favorite bakery in New York right now?
Has to be Khao Nam in Elmhurst. It's like a Thai dessert shop. It's fabulous.
Oh, I would love to go there.
Oh, let's go together.
Okay. Your go-to celebration restaurant in New York?
Crew.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Ooh, what you would consider to be the best sandwich of all time?
I love a BLT.
Summer tomatoes.
Yeah, summer tomatoes. Slightly salted. Crispy bread. It's perfect.
Yum. Your go-to late night snack?
This is going to be weird. I love a chocolate chip Kids Cliff Bar, microwave for 5 seconds. It's a delicacy.
What happens to the texture? Does it get melty?
It gets like really soft and it tastes like a ooey gooey cookie straight from the oven. I don't know. You have to try it. It's so good.
I believe you, so I'm gonna buy one just to try this.
I've got like a dozen of them. I'll bring one for you next time.
Okay. The first thing that you want to eat whenever you go back to Thailand?
Roti sai mai for sure. It's like a sweetened roti with the best way I can describe it is like cotton candy in the center. It like melts in your mouth and the roti's like warm and it's delicious.
Sounds really good. Okay, finally, a fictional food scene like from a book or a movie that you wish you could magically eat in real life.
Okay, you might laugh. Cormac McCarthy's The Road. There's a scene about where they find the canned peaches that I think about a lot whenever I see canned peaches, and I just like I want to eat them so bad.
Is this why you're like a low-key prepper?
Yeah, I mean, it's why my dad indoctrinated me into it. That was actually the first book I read in like 3rd grade.
It was The Road by Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, we did like a little book club, me and my dad. And so I want to eat those peaches.
We need like a whole second podcast just to unpack that. But thank you so much for sharing that and everything with me, Allie. This is so much fun.
This was great. Thank you for having me.
Geraldine de Ruyter, welcome to This Is Taste. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
This is exciting.
I'm excited too.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you. Your book, it's something that I've had on my desk for a while. It's out in paperback now.
It is, yeah.
Pick
it
it up.
Came out.
If You Can't Take the Heat, collection of essays and thoughts and terrific writing. Just really great. Let's talk about your father and beef stroganoff. I think it's a terrific piece of writing.
Thank you.
And it weaves in this fun fact that your father was a spy.
Was he a spy?
Well, there we go. So let's get into it. Tell me about this stroganoff and why it compelled you to write the essay.
So my father and I, we didn't live on the same continent for my entire life. Like I never shared an address with my dad. The way I describe it is my mom left Europe and my father kind of in one fell swoop. And so my dad lived in Germany my entire life, but he was of Ukrainian and Russian descent. And then he grew up in New York and worked for the Department of Defense for his entire career. So he had this kind of confluence and mix of identities and kind of cultural touchstones. And that was reflected in his mannerisms, in the food that he enjoyed, in his accent, and actually in his names. So the name that he went by was not his birth name. And my mother said early on in their marriage, she found a drawer full of passports with different names that all belonged to him. So I knew that he did work of some sort of covert intelligence capacity, but I didn't find that out until I was much, much older. My dad, I knew he spoke Russian. I knew he spoke Ukrainian. I knew he spoke like half a dozen other languages. But the only dish that he cooked that had this very sort of Slavic root was stroganoff.
Wow. Was it like the classic American style of stroganoff, like heavy on the sour cream?
Not really,
Yeah.
no.
I was wondering that. Yeah.
He used a can of V8.
That is wild. I love
I know.
that. Cooking with V8 is so smart.
It's so 60s.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Do they even sell V8 anymore?
I don't know. I know I'm sure they do actually, but I know he got his from the commissary.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this so you don't know if he was a spy, but he was clearly working in intelligence.
You know what? My husband got the stories out of him, and there was one where he told us this story about it ended up being, he's like, well, this guy was mad at me. And Rand kept pulling the thread. And he's like, well, why was he mad at you? And he's like, well, he thought we were friends. But then I did something that upset him. And it turned out the thing that my father did that upset the guy was my father threw him in a trunk of a car, closed the trunk, drove him across Checkpoint Charlie, pulled him out. And then the man was interrogated by, I guess, intelligence officers. And so that was the thing that my father did that upset the guy.
Yeah.
But to get that story out, Rand had to pull at this thread for hours.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love that piece. You also write about paying the check on dates, the complexity and pageantry of this great act. What can we learn from your writing?
Oh, gosh. I think that we fall into weird patterns that we don't even realize, and I notice it too that, my husband and I share finances. We both pay the bills. We both have money that we bring in to our home. But when we go out, if he puts the card down, I notice people will thank him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're sharing finances. Your names are on the card.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a dynamic that has a little bit of ick to it.
It's an old school dynamic,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't think anything of it. I'll be like, "Oh, thank you, honey," and I'm like, "Wait, what? What just happened? That's my money."
I
too."
paid for that meal
Yeah.
equally.
And he's great about being like, "No, thank you."
I love that.
He's great about that, which I really appreciate because it's a good reminder that we also need that reality check. Women do, feminists do. We all need that reality check of, "Oh yeah, I contributed. I did that."
So I want to talk about Mario Batali. I think that your writing came into focus for many of us in journalism through this essay. And you write a terrific postscript in the book. And I encourage you all to pick up the book if you know Geraldine's writing, even from just this Batali essay.
Pick up several copies, actually, if you have the chance.
Great for gifting.
Yeah, great for
Beautiful
gifting.
cover, too. Nice work.
Yeah,
around.
thank you.
You won a James Beard Award. I mean, it's one of the most memorable pieces in the past half decade. I'll even say decade. I mean, it was really important.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
I want to talk about the piece a bit. And really, first off, it wasn't written in Bon Appetit or a big publication. You wrote it.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to write it in the first place?
So do you remember when his apology came out? Like, do you remember the hubbub around it?
I remember exactly where I was.
Okay.
Hilariously, I was at an event at Chelsea Market that evening, and I was with other journalists, and it had come out, and we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And just like, holy shit, so explain what
it was bonkers, right?
Set it up a little bit.
Okay, so I think it's late 2017.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're kind of in the middle of the height of the Me Too movement coming to a head.
Yeah, I think the big New Yorker article for Weinstein came out in October of 2017, and then all the reporting started to fall into place.
Right. So it's now December. It's I think it's around Christmas time. But Tolly sends out an apology for allegations of sexual misconduct, which actually turned out to be, I think misconduct was the wrong word. I think it turned out to be allegations of assault, which then led to, I think, a criminal case which was dropped, but then there was a civil case which was settled. There was a lot that came out of this. And his newsletter is the vehicle in which the apology was sent out. And it is this very strange PR-crafted non-apology of, well, I didn't live up to my values and there were a lot of people who I offended. Anyway, here's a recipe for pizza dough cinnamon rolls. And they're a crowd pleaser. And it was like a record scratch. I think everyone was like, what the hell are you doing?
Wild.
And there's also this notion of like, look, man, if there are allegations coming out for sexual misconduct, you don't know what a crowd pleaser is.
It's wild. That word, that term, just to be framing in that piece of writing, it's perplexing that the people were paid money to consult him on that writing.
I assume that they hated him.
Yeah.
That's kind of my takeaway from all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we were all horrified collectively at the vehicle by which he expressed this non-apology. But the thing that caught me was I had made his pizza dough before. It was actually my go-to pizza dough recipe. Mm. And I bake a lot. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Pizza dough is not – it was a perfect metaphor because I was like, pizza dough is not a good vehicle to make cinnamon rolls, just like a newsletter is not a good vehicle for an apology. So I decided to make the cinnamon rolls because that was the one piece that no one had done. No one had taken that step.
Yeah.
And I didn't pitch it anywhere for a couple of reasons.
Yeah. One
is that, this is my big shameful confession. My pitches never get accepted. Like, for whatever reason, I think my food writing is a little bit esoteric. And I don't know. I think I'm a little bit outside of the fray of a lot of food, where a lot of food journalists exist. So I've always felt like a bit of like the imposter syndrome is strong within me, very much so. And I also felt that perhaps we were starting to move away from it because the timeline is so fast for these sort of things. And so I figured the only place where I could really find a place to publish it was going to be on my own blog. And that's what I did. So
you self-published this. It takes the internet by storm. Twitter is roaring at the time, and Twitter takes off. You get a lot of looks at it. And what's the arc of how that story just started to flow through media? Because it really did make, and it's terrific too, of course, but it also made a huge impression on media. And maybe you could say changed. I mean, it won a Beard Award, changed that, and it was before Substack, right?
It was, yeah.
And it like maybe changed this idea that you had to have this like shiny masthead for your award-winning critical writing, etc.
Yeah, wow. That is a Sorry, the imposter syndrome just came up.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. But I'm like, wow, do you really think, whoa?
I do.
So Helen Rosner was one of the first people to kind of get eyes on it. And Helen and I were mutuals on Twitter. And she pinged me and she was like, I think she just asked a couple questions or she retweeted it. And so that started to get attention that way. And then I noticed it just started getting all of these retweets. And then Pete Wells retweeted it. And he said something really beautiful about it. Just that, he was having trouble putting it into words and that this article did it. And I was like, oh, wow. So then it started to pick up. It got about 5 million views in a few days. Martha Stewart was retweeting it. Dan Savage retweeted it. All of these people across the food world. I was doing interviews with, I think I did an interview with Eater. I did one with The Kitchen. I had people confidentially reach out to me talking about their experiences.
Oh man, that's heavy.
It was heavy. It was heavy. And then sometime later, Naomi Tomke, who is a wonderful food writer out of Seattle.
She's written for Taste.
Yeah.
Early on in her first 2 years, she wrote a number of pieces.
Oh, wonderful.
Naomi's great, yeah.
Yeah, she's excellent. She essentially bullied me into submitting the piece for a James Beard Award.
As you should have.
And
it won.
I honestly.
It wasn't on your radar to submit.
It was not on my radar to submit. And I literally did it like 2 hours before the deadline closed. I had no idea. And the other people who were nominated was Naz Daravian and Catherine Dunn. So like The Atlantic and The New York Times.
Yeah.
And then the Everywhereist. So it was pretty funny.
So, I mean, at this moment, we're this collective support of this piece and just like the retweets, it's acknowledging this incredible writing. It's also acknowledging that like this guy needs to go away. This guy, like this was not acceptable. And really, he tried to come back a few other times.
He really did.
But it is not happening.
And I think that I think Bourdain was still with us at this point. And he kind of I think there was some reporting that Bourdain had told him, man, just take your money and go. Like, go enjoy your life, but do not try and re-enter the culinary world. And eventually, I think Batali sold off his stake in Italy.
Yep.
And he settled.
Divested,
he settled quite a few of the civil cases. But I think he's trying to come back now, is my understanding.
Do you want to write something? I'm just saying, like, it feels like you have more to say about this guy.
Well, here's my fundamental belief. I think that, we talk about cancel culture a lot. And frankly, first of all, I think that's a stupid phrase because it's consequences. That's all that we're fundamentally talking about. And I think that what we're proving is that this cancel culture concept doesn't exist because all of these guys come back. Every single one of them, right? They all come back. And, there is this conversation about, well, they should be like, people deserve a second chance. And I'm like, well, that might be true, but I think that we need to create a path back, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the person and what they've done. But we need to talk about and agree upon what that path looks like and what you need to do to come back. Yeah. And I don't know if just enough time has passed where you can say, oh, I think enough people have forgotten and so I'm coming back. That's not it.
Yeah.
That is not
And here's
it.
the meatball recipe.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. I hate that term too, and I agree with you. I think about intention too when in terms of quote unquote cancel culture. We'll cancel that term, but I mean, do you look at intention? So versus, I mean, Mario Batali clearly had horrible intention with his acts, but other people who maybe fell into the cancel bucket, quote unquote. Maybe had different intentions. How do you think about negotiating?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example there of Louis C.K. clearly I don't think his intentions were good. So
No, exactly. It's a good
again,
example.
I don't know. I don't want to paint a broad brush, but I think that what more often happens is that we don't hold people who should be held accountable for what they've done, rather than the opposite. I don't think that people who, are like had good intentions, but oops, I got swept up in this and now I'm getting canceled. I don't think that happens. Like, I would be shocked.
Fair. Absolutely. Your book's been out for a year, and now we're in paperback, and if you can't take the heat, you got to check it out. What are you working on right now, writing-wise? I was like, I'm curious.
I do want to explore, this is pie in the sky.
Let's go.
Okay.
You're at Penguin Random House.
I'm at Penguin Random House.
This is where the ideas kind of sometimes happen.
I do want to explore something about the nature of grief and food and grief. And I am saying this, I am fresh off of, I was at a funeral less than a week ago. My uncle, thank you. My uncle just passed away, but I was thinking about all of the ways that food kind of played a role. So I do think that there's something interesting to talk about with grief. And I'm not sure what that is. I haven't really locked in on that. But right now, what I've been working on, and I think I told you a bit about this, is I have found myself back to my roots of being in the toy and game world. So I am the lead writer of a video game that I am developing with my husband, where the protagonist is a female chef.
That's incredible. Okay, so we don't want to spoil a good surprise. So when it comes out, will you come back and tell me all about it?
I would love to. And if people want, can I plug it a little bit?
Well, no, but I want to, absolutely. I'm like, tell me everything. Truly.
Absolutely.
I don't want to like pressure you into telling the story. But
I would love to come back and
I have a million questions about that. Let's go there.
Yeah. Okay. But so first of all, if you want to follow along, the studio's name is Snack Bar Studio, singular. So you can go to snackbarstudio.com and take a look at what we're doing. But essentially, it is a magical version of Italy, and you live in an isolated town that you believe is the last surviving outpost after a magical cataclysm. And there is a kind of tyrannical ruler over this town. And I swear I wrote this before the current political situation, but he's got some strong fascist tendencies, and he controls the goods that come into the town, and they are very expensive.
So he's like the big bad?
He is the big bad.
Yeah.
And so your aunt was leaving the town, which is against the rules. She was going into the Forbidden Wilds, where there are dangerous plants and animals, and she was collecting and foraging and bringing things back to run your restaurant. Well, she's gotten arrested. And so now you need to take upon her mantle of illegal foraging to try and keep the restaurant afloat and maybe also get her out of prison. But as you are doing all of this, and you're cooking, you're uncovering all of these stories, and you're bringing the people of the town together to, I don't know, maybe fight fascism.
Revolt, against the big bad. So you're creating allies, and you're collecting allies through. Yeah. And how does the actual cooking play out in the game?
That's actually something that we are having a lot of fun trying to puzzle out. So we're about 18 months out. And so we've been having the discussion of, do we want the cooking element to be about food, like the actual cooking part? Do we want it to be relational? So a client comes in and it's what you serve them and how they feel, and it's that emotional response. So we're really trying to hone in on that. And that has been the hardest part, to turn this relationship with food into something tangible in a video game.
No, I mean, clearly you have to make that important choice. And Do you have fun writing the non-playable characters? Is that just
I've been having, oh my goodness.
I love the idea of the non-playable character, especially I like
I do.
non-playable characters in life. Now that it's like we can look at non-playable characters everywhere now.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I don't know, something that my husband says all the time that I fight with him is he goes, oh, I'm the NPC. I'm like, you are not. But one thing that it gets a little meta is, I've got all of these NPCs, and then you start to talk to them and they actually have these beautiful stories. And it's this idea of, we forget that everyone has this story.
Yeah.
That everyone has their own really powerful narrative. And it's like, oh, yeah, you just think they're the person standing next to you in line to get a coffee.
I love this. And so in 18 months, it comes out. Is it like on Steam? Is it like out?
It's going to be on Steam. It's going to be on Switch.
Cool.
It's going to be on hopefully a couple different platforms. But, we're a little independent studio, so we are hustling. And there's 5 of us. And
Wow.
Yeah, we're kind of we're in Romania, Italy, the Canary Islands, and the U.S. and I think Spain right now. There's only a couple.
Yeah,
of
your
us.
team's all over. You're on
Yeah.
the Zooms. I mean, does it like? I don't know this world. I'm so curious.
Neither do I.
Oh, great.
Really. It's brand new. The
Yeah.
video game aspect is brand new to me. Yeah.
Whose idea was it? How'd this start?
So Rand, my husband, had been wanting to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
He was super passionate about wanting to do a video game. And he was like, well, you know what? Like maybe when my company, if my company ever sells, like, he had this company that he had left several years ago. And he's like, well, if it ever does well, if it ever sells, if something ever comes of it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Don't wait for the what if. Like, don't do it, because honestly, if you want to take a big swing, like, go for it. And this was during COVID. And he reached out to a gentleman named Nicholas Kraj, who worked on the Assassin's Creed games, and kind of a luminary in the industry. Started talking to Nicholas, and it started that Nicholas was a contractor and advisor, and now he's a co-founder of this studio with us. So slowly it kind of manifested that way. But it was very much a pie in the sky. And I was like, yeah, don't wait.
Very cool. Are you following The Last of Us? Did you play the game?
I haven't. I have not played the game or watched it. So zombies are my number one fictional fear.
Oh, well, this is not for you.
Yeah, but Pedro Pascal is kind of my number one fictional boyfriend. So it's very confusing.
Yeah.
I really want to watch.
Well, I hope that's an example of a video game going to the small screen. I feel like this, just the brief bits you told me about it, sounds like it'd be a cool TV
I agree.
show.
If anyone would like to option it.
Yeah, exactly. Out there. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Seattle, where you live.
Yeah.
I love your city. I got to go twice last year, and I hadn't spent much time there. And
Next time, call.
I will, now that we know each other. I'd love
Yeah.
to. I mean, I have my favorites, like just from my own, like St. Bread. Oh my God, love that place.
It's amazing. And I believe they just were nominated for a Beard Award.
They were, absolutely. I mean, Hamdi, Watson's Corner.
Watson's Corner closed.
Oh no, well,
Yeah.
we're doing the updates here.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, and sorry, I'm just like I'm riffing because I just want to shout my place in Seattle, Mean Sandwich.
I've never been.
Fucking so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got 2 locations, and so I need to go.
So good. Anyways, that's my like brief tourist take. I'd love to get your takes on your city scene and some restaurants you love.
So I recently went to Sophon, Sophon. It's on Finney Ridge, and it's a Cambodian restaurant. And it was phenomenal. I went with my cousin, and he was like, here's what I love. He said, it's all new to me. He said, everything was new to me. And he adored it. So that was really big on my radar. One place I went to recently was the Garrison.
Okay.
It's in Ballard, and it's just kind of beautiful Northwest, a lot of seafood, and kind of calls back to Ballard is our old fishing town. And so it really calls back to that and kind of has some Scandinavian influences. And I loved it. My husband is on the lookout for the best spicy chicken sandwich in Seattle.
That's a great quest.
It's a wonderful
It's a great quest.
Yeah.
I feel Mean probably does a good one.
We're going to have to
You
check
gotta
it
check
out.
it out.
Yeah.
I just love. I know it's like not the newest place, but I've been every time I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah, no, I'm going to, because right now I think our top one is Cook's Country Chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have said that right. It might be Country Cook's Chicken.
Yeah.
That there is some permutation, but I believe it's Cook's Country Chicken, and they do an excellent fried chicken sandwich.
I love it. It's a great food city.
It is. Here's the thing. It's a very expensive food city. It will make your heart stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think, unfortunately, like we see a lot of great places close down because it's so pricey to keep a restaurant going.
Yeah, I think that's a New York thing too.
Is it? Yeah, I believe it.
It's challenging right now to keep restaurants open. We're pulling for everyone.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Keep lights on, man.
And I think when you see a place that you love, even if you've been there 1,000 times, I think you just have to keep going back.
Yeah. Great advice. Become a regular if you like the place because it might not always be there.
Right. You do. And I also think that we fall in love with the new so quickly.
I know. It's the problem, right?
We chase the new.
Hamdi. Have you heard of Hamdi?
I haven't.
This Turkish, it's amazing.
Oh, no. I have heard of it.
So good.
I have heard of it. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, people have been talking about it. Yeah. But then I'm like, but I have to go to all the other places. Yeah.
Well, this has been such a great chat. I've had such a good time. On This Is Taste, we ask guests about their discerning taste. So to close this interview, here's a little rapid fire, fast and furious taste check. Are you ready?
No, I'm not.
You're going to do it.
Okay.
I have confidence.
Okay.
The best fruit.
Cherimoya.
Oh, tell me about it. I love that choice.
I think it's such a different combination of things. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's a little tart. You don't get it all the time. So
the worst vegetable.
Oh, those little carrots that come in a bag that are always wet and weirdly like shaved.
It's a very good call. I always wonder how many miles has that wetness traveled?
Yeah.
Is that like coming from local or is that like from did it need a passport?
And then there's water in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah, is that like passport required water?
I don't know.
Yeah, good one. That one hasn't come up. It's a new one. The best dessert.
Oh, heavens. I'm gonna go real basic. I think carrot cake.
You are the best.
Really?
That's my number one.
Really?
I love carrot cake.
Cool.
Go to Hani's in New York, bakery downtown, brand new, Hanis. We've talked about a lot on the show. Their carrot cake is phenomenal, and it's an incredible bakery.
Okay,
just down in the East Village.
Question: does it have pineapple in it?
Nope.
Good.
That's it. That's no. I don't like that choice either.
I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, I don't think it has pineapple, at least from my experience with it a few days ago. No pineapple.
Yeah. It's also weird that I said those carrots were the trash vegetable, and yet carrots are.
The beauty of food.
Isn't that incredible?
It's the beauty of cooking right there. Raw materials sometimes need to be changed.
They do.
And that's a great example.
We can all transform ourselves, friends.
Your favorite American fast food chain?
Oh. Oh, my God. Oh, God, I haven't had fast food.
If you're not into it, you can just be like, I don't eat
No,
fast
you
food.
know what? I will push over somebody's grandmother for a Dairy Queen butterscotch dip cone.
Sick. Great choice.
Thank you.
It's a great choice.
Thank you.
Your favorite cookbook of all time?
I told you I'm a baker and not much of a home cook.
Yeah.
Or I don't use cookbooks for home cooking. Yeah. So I have to say Sarah Kiefer's 100 Cookies.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
It's excellent.
I remember when that came out. Yeah, that's a good one.
It is. It's excellent.
Do you have a favorite recent cookbook discovery?
Well, actually, can I tell you my favorite cookbook story?
Yeah, sure.
So my grandmother-in-law passed away a few years ago. My grandfather-in-law is still kicking at 97.
Nice.
So these are my husband's paternal grandparents. But Pauline never cooked. The joke was, what's she making for dinner? And the answer is reservations. So just picture old school New York, glamorous Jewish woman. And Pauline had Paula Peck's The Joy of Baking on her shelf. And I said, Pauline, why do you have The Joy of Baking on your shelf? You don't bake. And she laughed. She goes, And she goes, see, she just asked why I have that cookbook on my shelf. And she never answered my question. And 20 years later, she died. And she never answered the question. But in the interim, she mailed me the book.
Oh, that's good.
And I have it on my shelf. And I love it because it's full of these like 1950s and 60s recipes. And they spell cookie with a Y. It's
oh, my
great.
goodness. I didn't know that had a history there. Oh, wow, with a Y. Oh,
It's great.
bring back that spelling. I love that story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for making the time.
A cuisine you'd like to learn more about?
I think Peruvian, because you've got the chaufa, which is the Chinese influence. You've got the Japanese influence. You've got the ceviche. You've got the spice. It's such a confluence of flavors. And then you've got the indigenous influence. So you've got the guinea pig. You've got 200 different kinds of potatoes. It's incredible.
What a great call. Last one, your favorite sandwich.
I do not eat sandwiches.
Okay, let's go. Like none.
None. No, I eat about 2 sandwiches a year, maybe.
Why?
Because I feel that the sandwich is usually ill-composed and structurally problematic.
Wow.
However, I recently had one of the best sandwiches of my life. And for someone who doesn't eat sandwiches, this is significant. And it was at a restaurant called, I will mispronounce it, Bilili in Paris.
Okay.
And I think it's Bilili.
Bilili is what I'm thinking.
Yep. And they make a pastrami sandwich, which again, I don't even like pastrami. And it was perfectly composed. It did not lose structural integrity, which is key to me.
You're a structure person. Like
I am.
The loose meat falling out is
If
good
it
for you.
loses structural integrity, I don't care if I've taken one bite. I put it down. I'm done. Someone else has to take it because I will not eat it. So, and I think, and if parts of it get soggy, no. Most sandwiches are trash. Yeah.
I am really happy to hear that you found a sandwich that isn't trash.
Yeah. I've upset you now, and I'm cool with it because I've given you something to think about.
You
but I
have.
am sorry for.
I've just never met someone who doesn't like sandwiches, and it makes sense you haven't been to Mean Sandwich because you don't like the category.
I mean, it is hard for me. So I will say, if a sandwich is structurally strong, even if the sandwich is meh, I'm cool with it.
So you really want a firm, like a coherent structure. There can't be overlapping of borders.
Right. So the French like baguette sandwich with the butter and the cornichon and the Dijon and then like the dried kind of ham inside and just a little bit of cheese, that works for me.
What about like a soft, like Japanese style convenience store?
Absolutely
milk bread?
not.
That's so it needs to be.
You've caused me.
That's a nightmare for you.
That is the soft bread that compresses and smushes into the filling.
Yeah.
And look, they're beautiful. I will say that.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The spongy bread with like the cream. Oh.
So like PB&J never was your thing.
I think I have eaten possibly one PB&J in my life.
I'm wondering have you written about this idea?
No, that the sandwich is imperfect and it's overrated.
Let's talk about taste.
Right.
I will respond to your pitch.
Really?
Well, now that we know each other, we can just talk
really?
on the phone.
I will say I do like a grilled cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, because usually that gets crisp, so it's got structural integrity.
This is like I feel like
I think I've broken you.
Well,
I think I've broke your
brain.
brain.
So I think you just need structure in your sandwiches. You need like something that isn't mushy. Like you're anti-mushy.
I am very anti-mushy.
Yeah.
But I'll eat like a trifle. Like I'm okay with some mushy desserts.
So like it needs to be in the dessert category to be mushy and work at that.
Yeah, like I can have a pudding. That's okay. But like mushy
So like Thanksgiving when it comes to the stuffing.
No, stuffing's okay.
Oh.
Figure this one out.
I'm unpacking this.
Right? But it's in your hand and then parts of it start to get mushy because they've made contact with a condiment that is now soaked through, or a tomato that is soaked.
You just don't like the liquid interrupting the bread and structure.
Right.
Like unintentionally.
Right.
Right.
Right. I think that is a deep problem.
We have something here, Geraldine. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining this.
This is Taste is hosted and produced by Matt Rodbard and me, Eliza Barbanel. The show is edited by lead producer Clayton Gumbert and supervised by Pat Stango, Director of Media Production and Development at Penguin Random House. Thanks to Shalia Harris and the production team at Penguin Random House. Theme music by Steve Rydell, logo and guest illustrations by Ellie Skurzat. Visit Taste online at tastecooking.com and make sure to subscribe to our newsletter to keep updated on all cool things in the world of taste.